Yes, sir.
Okay. Good afternoon, friends. So I'll continue from yesterday's discussion. I'll be discussing with you the consolidation test. Yesterday, yesterday means in the previous lectures, we had seen what is consolidation, what is the importance of consolidation, and now we will see how the consolidation test is conducted in the laboratory. Uh, so, friends, this is the consolidation test, and the main purpose of consolidation test is to obtain soil data, uh, which is used in predicting the rate and amount of settlement of structures founded on clay. Because clay is a very problematic soil, and therefore every civil engineer is interested to know what is going to be the ultimate settlement of the structure if it is founded on clay. The four most important soil properties which are determined by a consolidation test are: number one, the pre-consolidation stress, sigma p. This is the maximum stress that the soil has felt in the past. The second is the compression index, about which I told last time also. So this indicates the compressibility of a normally consolidated soil, and CC factor is very, very important, you see, for computation of the overall settlement of the clay. The third is the recompression index, CR, which indicates the compressibility of an over consolidated soil. And fourth is the coefficient of consolidation, CV, which indicates the rate of compression under a load increment. So friends, let me discuss with you that in the laboratory, we have a very good consolidation setup in our laboratory. So in the next semester, when you will be coming, we will demonstrate this test to you, and you will see yourself how the test is conducted. And but I will try my best to explain you how this test is really conducted. So, well, friends, there are two types of consolidometers. One is the floating ring type, other is the fixed ring type. So the difference between fixed ring and floating ring type is that in the fixed ring, in this one, uh, in this fixed ring type, only the top porous stone is permitted to move downward when soil specimen compresses. So only the top porous stone in the fixed type, you see. So this one, this porous stone is compressed, right, in the fixed ring type. And in the floating ring type, in the floating ring, here both porous stones, means upper one and lower one, are free press, are free to press. So this is the basic difference between the floating ring type and the fixed ring type. Now, uh, so this is the general setup of the consolidometer, which is available in our laboratory also. Before the test, let me explain you some important parameters. The first is the uh, void ratio. Void ratio is expressed as H minus HS upon HS. Here, H is equal to height of soil specimen, soil specimen at the end of each pressure increment. And HS is expressed as equivalent height of solids, and this is expressed as WS upon G gamma W into A. So G already you know that it is the specific gravity, and here WS is the dry weight of specimen, and A is cross-sectional area of specimen, and gamma W you know it is the unit weight of water in gram per cc. This is the setup. We have in fact 2-3 setups, big size of setups in our laboratory. So this is one of them, that this is the consolidometer, you see, and the consolidometer, as already explained by me, that we take the soil specimen and we apply the load. It is a clay specimen essentially, which is saturated, and then we apply the load, and then we see what is the void ratio in the initial stage and what is the change in void ratio at every load. So this is the loading frame, and it is based on loading frame is based on lever arm system. Lever arm system you must have read in your 7th 8th class, and in the lever arm system we take the mechanical advantage of load. We take the mechanical advantage of load. What does it mean? Lever arm, I need not to explain. This is a very preliminary thing, and the advantage is that if I apply, let us say 1 kg load, then according to the lever arm property, or as per the design of the lever arm system, it can transfer maybe 5 times of the load. If I apply say 1 kg, as per the lever arm property and the fabrication property, it may apply 5 kg load on the soil specimen, or 8 kg. It can be 5 times or 8 times depending upon the design of the lever arm system. So this is the general setup of the consolidometer, and in this setup, let me explain you. Let me search a plain page. Yeah. So this picture also you can see. So here we use porous stones, 2 numbers porous stones, 2 numbers porous stones. Then we need consolidation ring. Then we need consolidation cell. Then of course we need dial gauges. Then loading frame I have already shown you. Then we need set of weights. Then balance, electronic balance. Then oven. So all these things are essentially required. I need not to write also, because that will take unnecessary long time. So main thing is that the loading frame, which I have already explained you. So here, friends, this diameter is normally 60 mm, and the height of this is 20 mm. 20 mm. So normally there is a 1:3 ratio. Height of the specimen and the diameter, there is a 1:3 ratio. Now at the same time, because it is 20 mm height, so the soil which should be tested into the consolidation ring should be sieved through 2 mm sieve. Means particle size should not be larger than 1/10 of the height. Means particle 1/10 means 20 divided by 10 means 2 mm. Particle size should not be larger than 2 mm. It should be finer than 2 mm. So sieves of 2 mm is used, and minus 2 mm size soil is used for the consolidation test. These things you should remember. You should remember what? The lever arm system, then the size of the consolidation ring. You should always remember what is the size of the sieve, or what should be the particle size for which the testing is conducted. Now friends, you can conduct this test. You can conduct this test either on a undisturbed sample, or you can conduct this test on a remolded sample also, on a remolded soil sample also. So you can conduct this test, consolidation test. It can be conducted on undisturbed, or it can be conducted on remolded undisturbed specimen, or undisturbed, or the remolded specimen. Undisturbed specimen means when the soil samples have come from some site to the laboratory, and these samples are collected from the field in the steel tubes, and from the steel tubes directly through a jack and push system, we can extract the sample by pushing the sample from the back, and a cylindrical soil sample comes out. And because I have already explained you that the this consolidation specimen is 20 mm height and 60 dia, 60 mm is the dia. So according to this, we take out a little higher size of the sample, little higher than 20 mm, and then we place that soil and then trim off the excess soil, so that we get a perfect soil sample of this size for the testing. Now the setup which I have shown you, the consolidation ring should be made of brass or copper, normally brass, so that it should be non-rusting type of material, because it is always submerged in water. The sample is submerged in water, so it should not be made of simple iron, because iron may get rusted. So it is made of good quality brass or copper, normally brass. Now, as I said, it can be undisturbed specimen or remolded. In the remolded case, means we take the soil. Initially, it can be oven dry, then minus 2 mm size. Then you add water into it. For addition of water, you have two choices. One is that you conduct the compaction test, which I have already explained you long back. Through the compaction test, the advantage is that you will add the water to its optimum moisture content, and the sample shall be properly compacted up to the maximum dry density and up to the OMC, and then you place that soil, means sample of this size, into this consolidation ring, and then place it into the consolidation or the consolidometer setup. Now in the consolidometer setup, I have already shown you a picture, the diagram in which the porous stones are kept. So below the specimen and also above the specimen, porous stones are placed. Now I am talking of the bottommost porous stone. At the bottommost porous stone, firstly you keep a filter paper above that, and then you place the soil sample. Then above the soil sample, you place the filter paper again, and then the porous stone. So this is the setup. Now, if I show you the picture, that picture again, yeah. So from this you can make out that the porous stone, this is the topmost porous stone, top porous stone. Then above this top porous stone, you keep this plate, this steel plate. Now in this steel plate, you can see a small hole on the top, in the center of this plate. This plate is called loading plate. And there in the center of this loading plate, there is a small slot. Not the hole, you can say a small slot is there. Now, how the loading is done? In this small slot, this one, you place a steel ball, and on this steel ball, you place this loading frame, and this loading frame also has a small slot in the center, and that slot is placed above that steel ball. So steel ball top is placed within this frame, and steel ball bottom is placed in this plate. So there is a proper connection between the loading frame and the sample. Now above this there is a dial gauge, and this dial gauge gives you the value of the loading, how much load is applied onto the soil sample. Now you attach another dial gauge which will give you how much soil specimen is compressed under the action of every load. So this is the setup, the test setup. If you have any doubt, you can ask me. Okay. After the setup is ready, means all the connections are done, when we are sure that the sample is properly placed. Now, after that, we fill water into this. Into this consolidation cell. At the same time, the setup is designed in such a manner that at the bottom of this, there is a valve, and this valve is attached through a rubber tube with a small water jug, you can say, or water tumbler, which is filled with water. So this is properly connected so that every time there is a flow of water, if any water is lost by evaporation or anything. Our purpose is to keep this soil specimen always saturated, because I have already discussed the consolidation means the saturated soil. Soil is clay. So to ensure that we attach this sample, despite of filling this specimen with water, we attach through a rubber tube with this, we call it water reservoir. Reservoir is only a small tumbler, you can say, which is filled with water. Now, if there is no doubt, then let me go ahead. This one test is conducted in 7 days time. The sample soil sample is subjected to loading for 7 days time. In my very first lecture of consolidation, I had told you that consolidation can take place even for 100 years. So we try to simulate the actual field condition into the laboratory also. And therefore, we cannot conduct this test for 100 years. None of you or me will be surviving for that much time. And you have to take your degree in 4 years' time. So we finished this test in 7 days' time, but the test is so beautifully designed that we ensure all possible type of loading onto this soil specimen. How it is done, I will explain step by step. And you are free to ask me the question. So I have tried my best to explain you how this soil specimen is mounted on this test setup. Now, after mounting the soil sample onto the setup, we select some pressure increments, or you can call it loading increment. And every load is applied for 24 hours time. Then next day, we come to the laboratory again and we double the previous day loading. That load is left again on the soil specimen for 24 hours. Third day again we come to the laboratory and we double the loading of the second day loading. Means yesterday's loading we double today. Likewise, this test is conducted. So we can also adopt a longer time. We can also adopt a longer time. Let me go to the blank slide so that I can write something and explain you the things. So longer time may be adopted. Normally 24 hours time. 24 hours time is a must for loading. Is adopted in case of hard soil. In case of hard soil, that is clay larger than 25% of the total mass, or if it is collected from site where NSPT values are larger than 30. This SPT I need not to explain you now because you will be studying it in next semester, right? Or QU value. QU I have already explained you, unconfined compressive strength test, is greater than 4 kg per centimeter square. When these three conditions are there, then it is termed as hard soil. It is termed as hard soil when these three conditions are met. Okay, otherwise it is a soft soil. Okay, now coming to the testing, I have explained you the complete setup. Now friends, we have the lever arm system for applying the loading onto the sample. So after mounting the soil specimen on the setup, we apply initially a sitting load of say 0.05 kg per centimeter square. This is a seating load. Just to ensure that the loading jack, lever arm, and the soil specimen and the reaction frame, they are in a line. So this is the first requirement. So it is a seating load. Now the loading is started. The loading is started. Now, how the loading is started? I am giving you the example which is explained in my book also, and I again request all of you to purchase that book. You purchase your own copy, Soil Testing for Engineers, written by myself and JP Shukla. So this test which I am discussing now, this is very beautifully explained in the book also. But pay your attention and try to understand. So it is a pressure in kg per centimeter square, and this can be, initially it can be say 0.63, then double of this 1.26, then double of this 2.52, double of this 5.04, then double of this 10.08, then 20.16 kg per centimeter square. 20.16 kg per centimeter square means 200 tons per meter square. 200 ton per meter square is quite large, you see. 200 ton per meter square means it is 100-story building. Let me tell you one more important thing. These loading increments which I have written here just now, these loading increments should be as per the actual project. Means your project can be a 1-story house, or it can be a 200-meter high chimney, or it can be 100-story building. So normally in 1 story we take 1.5 to 2 ton per meter square load. So 200 ton per meter square means it is more than 100-story building. Okay. Now the table is made like this. This is the pressure increments chosen by you, and this is the time. There is a time elapsed. Time elapsed in minutes. In minutes. Time elapsed in minutes. Then we choose the time in such a manner that square root of time is possible. So let us say you have chosen the time interval as 0, means the starting time. So let us say when the sample is started, you set up the dial gauge. I told you there are 2 dial gauges. One gives you the load, how much load is applied onto the soil sample, and other dial gauge gives you the deformation. Let us say the initial reading of this dial gauge is at 0 time. This is say this one. Then the moment you apply the load, immediately at 0.25 minutes, means 15 seconds, you take the dial gauge reading, deformation dial gauge reading. Load 0.63 is constant. You apply the 0.63 load, 0.63 kg per centimeter square load, and then you see what are the deformations. Maybe this value comes down as 2190. Then after 0.25 minute, you take the reading at 1 minute. It can be say 2180. Then after 1 minute, you take reading at 2.25 minutes. It is say 2170. Then you take reading at 4 minutes. Then 2150. Let us say 2150. Then after 4 minutes, you take reading at 6.25 minutes. Say it is 2141. Then 9 minutes. 2130. Then 12.25 minutes, 3.5. So just I am saving the time. Then next day you come, 24 hours, means 1440 minutes, 2122. Say this is the reading of specimens deformation in 24 hours. Now next day you come. So it is 2122. So you double the load, and for that, at the 0th minute, it will be initial reading will be 2122 for the next day. This is next day. Then load is doubled to 1.26. Now again at this interval, you will note down the readings. Say this is the reading. Now third day, you double this load and 1978. This reading shall be the initial reading for the next day. So it is say 1890. Then it is, so the last reading is 1800. So again you come next day. So 1800 will be the initial reading for the next day. Then say 1505. Then 1505 will be the initial reading for this load. Then at the same time interval, you will note down the readings. So this is, for example, 1135. 1135 will be the initial reading. Then 940. See, the last reading is 807. So 3, 4, 5, 6 days. For 6 days, the same sample is subjected to loading, and loading has been done on 6th day, which is equivalent to 200 tons per meter square, which is quite high. And this is the scenario of the deformation of the soil sample. We started with 2220 and we finished at 807. And thereby, in 6 days loading, we presume that the entire deformation must have taken place. Means if this soil sample was in the field, it would have attained its maximum settlement consolidation up to 807, because 200 ton per meter square loading is quite high. In fact, this much loading can not be there also at the site. Okay, now with this set of reading, we prepare now another table. We prepare now another table of interpretation. So what is this table? This is the applied stress, applied pressure, then final dial gauge reading, from above table, then change dial gauge reading, change in dial gauge reading, then thickness of soil sample, H in centimeters, then equivalent height of voids, H minus HS, then void ratio E. This E is, as I explained earlier also, H minus HS upon HS. Now refer to the previous table with the green color. So initially applied pressure was 0, final dial gauge reading was this one at 0 stress, you see, and thickness of soil sample was 2 centimeter. 2, you remember I had told you that consolidation ring is 2 means 20 mm height, so it is 2 centimeter. Then H minus HS. So what is HS? HS I had already explained you is WS upon G gamma W into A. And this particular case, for this particular case which I am discussing with you, it is 1.199. So H minus HS is 0.801. And E, H is known, H minus HS, everything is known to you. This is 0.668. Now, when the load increment 0.63 was applied, the final reading was 2122. You see, 0.63, 2122. This was the final reading. So change in dial reading is minus 2122. This is equal to 98. Now the least count of dial gauge you should know. That is written on the dial gauge also. So thickness of soil sample will be, this is 2 centimeter. So it will be 2 minus 98 into least count of dial gauge. Least count of dial gauge. So least count in this case is 0.0. This is 0.002. 0.002. Least count of the dial gauge. So you can find out this is equal to 1.9804. Then this value is comes out as 0.7814, and this value comes at 0.65. Now next increment was 1.26, and 1978 was the last reading of this. This 1978. So let me save the time. This comes out as 0.628. So for every reading, you will place these. Xerox करा? संतोष कह रहा? अच्छा करा ली थी Xerox? अच्छा हाँ करा. So finally, up to the maximum loading of 20.16, you will plug in all these values and say the last value of void ratio comes out as 0.432. Now, you have friends, you have now E value with you, you have pressure value also, and you can take the logarithmic of this. And you can draw a E log P curve, like this is log scale, this is the pressure on log scale, and this is the void ratio. So you will draw a curve which is something like this. Something like this. Now, let me tell you that this is the curve which ultimately you have to draw. Before that, let me tell you some more very, very important points. This is of course very important point. This is of course very important point. Now, MV, this MV factor I had discussed earlier also. MV you can calculate as delta H upon HI into 1 upon okay. So this is one thing. Then sigma and HI, what will be HI will be the initial thickness.
So, please repeat after
Initial
MV.
thickness. 1.857.
Your connection.
1.857. This is the initial thickness. You see?
Excuse me,
This is
sir.
the initial thickness of the. Huh?
So please start again when you described MV. Because
Yeah, sure.
I think I lost connection.
Okay. No problem. Okay, what I am saying is that from this table, E is known to you, and this is a pressure. So pressure, if you take on logarithmic scale, you can draw the E log P curve. So this curve is okay? Tell me yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now friends, the another important parameter MV, which I have already described in the earlier classes. MV is defined as delta H upon HI into 1 upon delta sigma. So for this particular table, which I have already made, delta sigma is from this curve is the difference of two sigma values. You can choose any two. For example, let me use another color. For example, this is one value, this is second value. So difference of this, say this is 10.04, it was 5.04, say this was 10.08. So it is 10.08 minus this thing. So this is delta sigma. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Is that okay? Okay. And so this is the delta sigma and delta H. Delta H is already defined that it is a change in the thickness. So say it is 1.857 and corresponding to this value. So 1.857 minus corresponding to this value, what is the H? So delta H is difference of these two values. So it will be here in this case in this particular case it is 0.074 upon it is initial value say 1.857 hi, means any two value corresponding with this point corresponding to any 2 points. So first value minus the not minus into difference of these two value 10.08 minus 5.04, so this is 5.04. So MV in this particular case comes out as 7.91 into 10 raised to the power minus 3 centimeter square per kg. So this is the value of MV, and this MV is used, very much used for computation of the settlement, as I explained earlier also. Alternatively, friends, you will calculate the alternatively you will calculate the value of C by using this equation, which is very simple. In case of any doubt, please ask me. So CC value you will calculate, and this value is very useful for computation of the clay strata settlement by using this equation CC into H upon 1 plus E0 log to the base 10 P0 plus delta P upon P0. So here in this equation, CC factor is used. CC factor you can calculate by taking the the slope of this curve. This is slope by this equation. So that's why this is the importance of this test. That this test is so important, right? So this is the importance of this test. Now I will tell you some more good points which are useful to you. Uh, uh, yeah. So CC is also equal to 0 into E naught minus 0.27. This is as per IS code 8009. So here E0 is the initial void ratio. Initial void ratio. This is equal to G gamma W upon gamma D minus 1. Now CC is also equal to 0.009 liquid limit minus 10. Now this is the one equation of settlement. Settlement is also calculated as equal to delta P into MV into H. MV I have already explained you in the previous slide how the MV is calculated. Here its weight also after it is oven dried. So degree of saturation Also, you can calculate S is equal to small w G upon E. This relationship I had already told you in the very first lecture. S into E is equal to moisture content into. So you will find in this particular case the degree of saturation was 100%. Means it was fully saturated sample. So I think I have tried my best to explain you how this consolidation test is conducted in the laboratory and what is the importance of consolidation test.
Sir,
Consolidate. Let me tell you, still I have some 5
sir,
minutes.
please repeat
See,
from
this is the
consolidation. So please repeat from the settlement where you wrote S is equal to delta PMB by into H.
yeah that I am explaining. Yeah, that I am telling you. Say this is the ground level and this is your foundation. Okay, the width of this foundation is, let us say, B. The influence of this foundation when this is subjected to load, the Q is the load, the influence of this foundation is up to the depth of 2B. Now, replying to your question, what you have asked, let me tell you the practical importance of this question. Why I have explained all these things. As I said that the influence of this load Q, influence of this Q load is up to the 2B depth only. But how much settlement has taken place? As your friend has asked the question. What is your name?
Sir, Rahul Gupta.
As Rahul Gupta has asked a very good question, I am telling you the practical importance of this S value. So what we do, this 2B zone is divided into, let us say, 2-3 zones, maybe 4. This is zone number 1, zone number 2 and 3, up to 2B only. Now, next step is the settlement. Next step is the settlement. Next step is the settlement. So firstly, I calculate in the first zone S1, I calculate by the same formula, CH upon 1 plus E naught, this thing. So for this case, H will be the thickness of this strata. So it will be S1. Now, then I will calculate S2 for this. So for S2, this will be H value, that is H2 value. And this formula is P0 plus delta P upon P0. What we will do for the layer number 1, if this is the center line of this first layer, then I calculate the pressure at this point. So delta P is the pressure increment at this layer, center line of first. Then this is delta P1. Then I will calculate the same pressure increment delta P2 at the center line 2. Similarly, I will calculate delta 3 at center line 3, and I will calculate S1, S2 and S3, and total settlement will be S1 plus S2 plus it can be Sn, means number of layers, total number of layers. So friends, this will give you the total settlement. As I said in the beginning, we can predict the settlement, the actual settlement which is taking place, which may take place at this particular clay soil when it is subjected to loading. And P0 is calculated on the basis of Q. So because time is now less, but it is explained in the books also, in my book also. So you can read yourself, and in case of any doubt, although this part we will be considering, we will be discussing in the next semester when we will teach you the foundation engineering. But since Rahul had asked a very good question, it is my duty to explain that how the S is calculated and what is the importance of S. So now thank you very much. Time is already over. So all these notes I will be sending you when I will finish the consolidation discussion next week. Okay. Okay, thank you very much for today.